You might be wondering where I am. My answer to that is yes. Anyway, we're making a tier list today because yesterday tier list came out and I've been playing this game for about 2 weeks now. Not recording any videos because I don't know. I'll probably record my next high score or something. You'll see the insanity I have to go through on a daily basis. But for now, all you get to see for this game is a tier list. Yes. If you're really interested in this game, I hope you find this helpful to not only which animatronics you should have on, but also which ones you should have off. I will say, this tier list is going to be based on difficulty and synergism. That is, if an animatronic works well with another animatronic, it is possible that an F tier in one tier list could actually be an E tier in mine. With that being all said, let's get into this. Starting with Yendo. He'll immediately cause a ventilation error when he's in your office. Now this might seem trivial at first, but when you include Nightmare BB and Scrap Baby into the mix, you could prioritize Yendo over those two, and then they'll get the jump on you. For that reason, Yendo's a D tier. Shadow Freddy, I say he's E tier because he's basically a carbon copy of Phantom BB. Pretty simple to deal with. Will only cause a ventilation error if you aren't quick enough. I will say the other reason that he's E tier is that he has less of a reaction time. Like for the Phantoms, you could stay on that camera for about 5 seconds and they won't get you. But others, yeah. Phantom Chica doesn't even have a jump scare. All she does is block your view of Toy Freddy's game. So, if Toy Freddy isn't in your game, she's useless. With that, I put her in F tier either way. Because most runs only set up the first blocking point for Toy Freddy, and that's it. Next up is Phantom Foxy. Phantom Foxy is one of the tougher Phantom animatronics. He spawns on the left side. You have to look to the right, or alternatively, you can look right and put your cams up to make him go away. If he gets you, you have to reset your ventilation and your audio device, which means he synergizes well with mediocre melodies and Phantom Freddy when Nightmare BB is in the mix. For that, he goes B tier. Phantom Puppet. His main home is in the vents. If you see him, get out of the vents. Or else he'll cause a ventilation error and he will sit in front of you, not allowing you to open your cams or your mask. Because you don't go into the vents that often, he should be F tier. But I'm doing the 1.1.2 patch tier list, so I believe that once Adventure Fredbear's added, he's going to jump up to E tier. Unlike the Paper Pals and Trash in the Gang, who will be at F tier, because they are just random non-lethal jump scares that do not account for Party Freddy. Plush babies. These things will hide in your light system. You have 11.6 seconds to shine them. And if you don't shine them in time, you're dead. You can just exist in the light system to stall them, but at some point you're going to have to go out of the light system to do something. And for that reason, plush babies get A tier. It's likely that they'll get the jump on you, but if you're good enough, you can dodge them like a pro. Next up is Dark Freddy. He will disable your cameras if you stay on them for too long. No non-lethal jump scares associated with him. Although, if you're looking at an animatronic such as Plush Trap, he might cause a little bit more bad things to happen. So, because he's the perfect pair for Plush Trap, he gets E tier. Nyan Bonnie, he's F tier. All he does is add a little bit of extra flair to your room. He's actually more of a cool animatronic than a killer one. Funtime Freddy, same as Sister Location Custom Night. He can be office stalled. And I will explain what that means, so I don't have to do it later. Office stalling is basically when you stay in your office and nothing can attack you from the doors. There are a few exceptions to office stalling, which I will get to later. So, what the players typically do is they wait for the ventilation to air, and then they will start closing doors to make sure nothing can get to them. And then they only close the top vent when going into the cams. That's because all the other animatronics have been reset. Because of that, Funtime Freddy is more of an F tier animatronic. Nyan Chica, on the other hand, spawns roaches on your screen and you can't touch them. This is an interesting mechanic, and I would put it higher, except for the fact that these only spawn in the top left corner. It's cool and all, and it does make you have to be more careful when resetting ventilation and stuff. But because they spawn so minimally, they are easy to avoid. Burnt Foxy is pretty much a support character for the Jaco animatronics. You have what you have is an animatronic that raises the temperature to phenomenal proportions that used to only be able to be disabled via Pirate Cove. Now he can be disabled via the Power AC, which drops him from S tier all the way to C tier. Because he's still a rather strong animatronic, and he forces you to use a little bit of power to get to him. Freddy Frostbear. If your office is too cold, he'll spawn in, and he'll disable doors, power generator, global music box, anything under the sun, even the auto lure and the ducts. We we deal with him. It's easy. Just turn off your fan at the beginning of the night and you'll be fine. That being said, if he does spawn in, he can be a pain, so I put him in E tier. Freddie Shamrock, F tier. I think that Freddie Shamrock is literally a carbon copy of Rockstar Foxy, just for the cameras. And his chance thing is badonkers even on 20 AI. If he spawns in, there's maybe like a 20% chance that you will get jump scared. The other times you'll gain fast coins or anything else that you want. I will say, he does do well when Withered Bonnet is off of the cam, is on the table. Because if you click Shamrock Freddy, he'll take you out of the cams to exist. Now, I don't think that should happen. I think he should just appear if necessary and leave you in. But I guess there is a bigger risk with him. But the fact that you don't really have to click him puts him in F tier. Chocolate Bonnie, the first S tier animatronic of our day. He spawns an Easter basket in the cams, you have to find it. A carbon copy of Rockstar Bonnie. Why is he an S tier? Because, just like Rockstar Bonnie, he is difficult. He synergizes well with the plush animatronics, such as Nightmare Bonnie, Nightmare Mangle, and Baby, because it stops you from Cam 2 stalling them. Like, the only time this guy is manageable is when he comes at 1 in the morning. Next up is Easter Bonnie. Same premise as Chocolate Bonnie, except he spawns the egg in your office. A much easier animatronic, although if you have a bunch of office animatronics on, such as Scrap Baby, Phantom Freddy, Rockstar Freddy, Pickles, all that good stuff, they can block the egg, and you will not be able to find it. And that's where Easter Bonnie shines. For that, he gets C tier. VR Toy Freddy. For him, you have to keep your power usage below 3. Now, it's easy to do this because the only time he'll jump scare you when your power usage is above 3 is when you're in the cams. In layman's terms, he can be office stalled. So, yeah, for that, he goes in E tier. Because I'm fairly certain that some people will not office stall him, and that will be the bane of their existence. High score Toy Chica. V to spam cupcakes, spawns semi-frequently, even at 20. Not that bad. I think high score Toy Chica is F tier. Golden Bear. Golden Bear is basically the exact same thing as Golden Freddy. He comes into your room, you put the mask down, he goes away. Now, I don't know about you, but I find this mechanic to be easy to deal with. You just put the mask down every single time and hope for the best. What I'm thinking is that he is E tier. Because there are still some times where he can attack you because you're focused on other animatronics. such as 8-Bit Baby. More on her later. Endo-01. Audio lure in the duct will keep him at bay. He is immune to the heater. Not that we ever use the heater in our game. But if Phantom Foxy disables your audio devices, that's pretty much a dead run unless you can herd up the rest of the duct animatronics quickly. That being said, they semi-jump scare you. Like, probably the most aggressive of all of them is Endo-02. So, all the mediocre melodies are going into D tier. We'll get to them as we get to them. Because I don't want to destroy what we have going on here, because as you can see, once you get down to a certain point, they duplicate. I don't know why, they just do. Let me just... Yeah, I can do this. Hold on. Endo-02, same as Endo-01. Happy Frog. Another mediocre melody. Mr. Hippo. Ned Bear. Orville Elephant. And there's one more, Pig Patch. Where did Pig Patch go? All 7 of them are D tier. Next up, we have Withered Freddy. Withered Freddy is just like Golden Freddy and Golden Bear. The difference is he can spawn while you're in the cameras. So if you're not quick enough in your cameras, he will jump scare you. You have to get out of the cameras and put down your mask for him. He synergizes well with plush babies, because you have minimal time to flash those, and when you get back into the office, you have even more minimal time to get rid of Withered Freddy. For that, I find Withered Freddy to be C tier. The phone guys. These would be the bane of your existence, provided that Music Man wasn't nerfed. You get them during the global music box stuff, nothing's gonna happen to that security puppet. You get them during Power Generator, you might aggro him a little bit. But he doesn't come close to the point where security puppet can jump scare you. Because of that, all the hand units and phone guys and stuff will get E tier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The only one I'm not including on the same tier as the phone guys is Lolbit and Candy Cadet. Lolbit requires just an input of keys to get rid of, which is so much easier than finding a button on your office screen. For that, Lolbit gets F tier. Candy Cadet will only activate when your power generator is on, which puts him at D tier, because if you have him on and Security Puppet on, Security Puppet will aggro really quick. Next up are the second and third version of the plush babies, the scrap plush babies and the plushkins. For the same reason as the plush babies, they also get into the A tier. Shadow Cupcake. You don't click him before you move a camera, you get a non-lethal jump scare that gives you a ventilation error. Now, I'd say in the very beginning of my gameplays, I had him on. and I would try to go for 80-20 or 90-20 mode, and this guy would get me non-stop when going from parts and service to Cam 2. Now that I know to sometimes expect him, he's all he really is a nuisance to the plan. So, for that, Shadow Cupcake gets E tier. Shadow Mangle. Her, Mangle, and Nightmare Foxy are the reason that you have to leave your top vent closed when going into the cams to do ventilation resets. Because of that, that's one extra bar of power usage that you have to go through when in the cams. As such, I believe that those 3 animatronics all deserve D tier. Shadow Mangle, Nightmare Foxy, and Mangle. Now for Endo. Endo will just turn your view upside down. And you think this wouldn't be bad. You think this would be an F tier animatronic. But I say he's an E tier. Because he synergizes well with animatronics such as Rockstar Foxy, Nightmarian, Healthy, Ballora of all things. The inversion of your screen causes a lot of problems with hitboxes, perception, and more. But it isn't enough to warrant him any higher of a tier. Just saying. Withered Foxy. Basically an upgraded version of Afton, except with all the flashing lights. So, even though he isn't that, he's aggressive. I'll give him that. But he can be office stalled. So for that, he is F tier with the rest of the office stalled. Nightmare Endo. He can also be office stalled. Instant F tier. Also, he's literally just like Nightmare and Nightmare Fredbear, just for the top vent. Withered Bonbon. In the beginning, I would have considered him an F tier, mainly because the original strategy had you stay in the camp. Now the new strategy has you stay in the light system, making Withered Bonbon that much more of a threat. For that, Withered Bonbon gets B tier. Withered Bonnet, on the other hand, because there are 3 other systems you can go in to avoid her, is going to get D tier. I consider her more of the reminder animatronic, if you will. Party Freddy. Agitation equals death. Agitation comes from non-lethal jump scare. Problem is that non-lethal jump scare comes way too less often. There has to be more non-lethal animatronics, non-lethal jump scare animatronics, for this guy to deserve any tier aside from F. Totem Panic. Totem Panic is more so of a nuisance animatronic, more so than a difficult one. Totem Panic spawns rarely, even on 20 AI, There are some times where you can get many of them in a row, but even then, you only have to touch four of the totems and you're dead, and they aren't really that wide. They can suck when they cover certain portions of your screen that you need to be on, but aside from that, not really important. I still think she's E tier because there are sometimes she can be a pain, but nothing more. System error Toy Bonnie causes audio errors, camera errors, and even a little bit more ventilation errors than you think. Because of the fact that she causes ventilation errors, she synergizes well with office animatronics, such as Rockstar Freddy, Rockstar Bonnie, Chocolate Bonnie, Nightmare BB, and more. As such, because of the audio errors, she also synergizes well with the mediocre melody. In fact, this guy can cause a lot more death than you think. Indirectly, but causes a lot more death than you think. Because of that, he's B tier. 8-bit baby. Minigame on the table, numpad in the top right corner. The pattern gets longer as the AI level increases, but it can still be done in a matter of 20 to 25 seconds if you. So, honestly, I find her more of an E tier because you could get sidetracked. And when you get sidetracked, she stays on the screen. And any of these phone guys will be blocked by her. So on the off chance that the phone guys spawn in that really tiny square, you can't stop them unless you spam click. And who knows, maybe if you spam click, you'll click the wrong number and you'll die. Prize King. Deedy, but with rewards. He, if you click one of his gumballs, will spawn 5 to 20 fast coins in your inventory or a new animatronic. You don't have to deal with him if you don't want to, which is why, just like Shamrock Freddy, he gets F. Pickles. Eat one an hour or else your fan is gone. Now, some people might find the fan useful, so they would rank this up in C. And sure, Pickles synergizes well with the Jaco animatronics because if the fan's disabled, then all you have left to fend off against those is the power AC. But the problem is, Nightmare Chica and Burnt Foxy counteract this in a way. They force you to use the power AC, keeping your temperatures semi-cool. And with that, Pickles belongs in F tier. Security Puppet. Honestly, if this thing had an aggro reset mechanic, he would be an F tier, with how often we need to use the music box. But he doesn't. So, Security Puppet goes in C tier. No, because he doesn't get the jump on a stack often. He's D tier. Because what Security Puppet will do is when you have anything other than the global music box on and you're making noise, he'll start to wind up. His tune will go faster and faster and faster until you get jump scared by him. Now, when you turn on the global music box, it soothes him, but it doesn't reset his aggro. So when you turn on the power generator again, he'll start winding back up at the same speed he was before. And that causes a lot of tension. Even if you don't get jump scared by Security Puppet, he will cause a lot of tension and make you stress out for that night. Gumball Swivel Hand. This is the epitome of a toxicity meter in FNAF 2, except with lethal consequences. If you have your cams on for too long, or if you have your mask on for too long, he will kill you. Gumball Swivel Hand is deserving of D because if you're not quick enough with your intricate strategy at the beginning of the map of every single run, for example, my strat is duct system, audio lore, cam 7, toy Freddy, block, cam 2 light system, off mask, on mask off. That sounds like a lot, but really it isn't. It only takes like 4 seconds. Tops. 4 seconds minimum. Maybe 10 seconds maximum if you have too many distractions. But if you're not quick enough with that, you'll die. Fruit Punch Clown and Lemonade Clown. You'd think they're on the same tier. They're not. Fruit Punch is E. Lemonade is D. Why? Because if you have them on, Fruit Punch, you have to press your left arrow to have him scare a child. Lemonade, you have to have your right arrow on to have him scare a child. Lemonade Clown is significantly further away from his child than Fruit Punch Clown. And for that reason, Lemonade Clown deserves just one tier higher than Fruit Punch. Because you have less of a reaction time. Egg Baby. Egg Baby is currently F tier for the current strat, but once 1.1.2 comes out, he's going to skyrocket to, I'd say C tier. Because what he does, he spawns a blueprint on the cam system, and you have to click in the bottom right corner of your screen to deactivate that blueprint in a 250 pixel area blue button. 250 pixels ain't a lot, bruh. You can glide that with your mouse in like half a millisecond. Mendo. Mendo will reactivate your Death Coin animatronic only if he gets into your room. He isn't really that bad of an animatronic to deal with, but if he gets into your room, he has severe repercussions. So instead of having him be F tier like the rest of the office stall animatronics, he is in D tier. No, E tier. He's easy to deal with, but has severe repercussions if you don't deal with him that fast. Coffee. Like pickle. Eat pickle or lose fan, drink coffee or die. But I actually have nothing to say about this character because I haven't dealt with him yet. The update for 1.1.2 has yet to come out. I'm making predictions. I think this guy will be semi-easy to deal with, but also keep you on your toes. For example, if you're dealing with plush babies and trying to find some clocks, you really don't have much time. Because this coffee will fill and you will be killed. Same with office-based stuff. If Toy Bonnie, Grim Foxy, and Toy Chica jump on you separately, that'll take 15 seconds away. Coffee will fill. You will be killed. And then, for that, I think Coffee's going to be a D tier animatronic. No joke. Adventure Spring Bonnie. You gain fast coin, he get angry. You have to boop his nose to make him not angry anymore. So, for that, because you get a lot of fast coins while office stalling from vent snares and doors and stuff, I think you're gonna have to reset him pretty often, making him a C tier animatronic. Adventure Fredbear. I would rank this S tier because it makes you get off the lights. But you do have probably 25 to 30 seconds worth of time to find 4 clocks in all the 4 different systems. One in the cam, one in the vent, one in the duct, one in the light. This will give you time to shine your light on the plush baby, reset your audio lure if necessary, gather your things for the vent snare, and finally double check on your cam 2 animatronic. I guess. So that means Adventure Fredbear is probably going to be a B tier animatronic. I wouldn't say A tier because I'm fairly certain with 4 clocks you have to find, there's going to be a lot of time, a lot of leeway. But he's definitely up there. Next up, Jaco Bonnie. Jaco Bonnie is easy to deal with. He'll start spawning when your office temp is exactly 95 degrees. But he won't start going away until it's less than 90 degrees. As long as you have really good power AC management, you should be able to deal with him without having to double up on power AC and fan, saving you a couple of bars of power. But if you get burned Foxy too many times, he can be a pain, which is why he's going in D tier. No, D tier is different. E tier. Adventure Funtime Foxy and Adventure Lolbit. Now for this one, I need to double check which one is which. Please hold. Okay, Adventure Funtime Foxy will come from the left duct at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., and 6 a.m. Adventure Lolbit will come from the right vent at 1 a.m., 3 a.m., and 5 a.m. If you only have one active, you're fine. But if you have both active, you're going to have a not so fun time. So, because of their duality, they will both, and I say both, receive C tier. They force you out of your light system, meaning that you have to be a little bit earlier than usual on your vent resets for that time. Maybe like at the 35-second mark instead of the 50-second mark. Unless you set up Lolbit beforehand. Then you're fine. But you need that extra time to set up things. So, yeah. Bitty Bab and Electro Bab. The the dual the duo that does Jack. F tier because they can be stopped by the vent snare and the door. If they make it to the door, they're also reset by the door. And they can be off installed. Basically the weakest vent animatronic out there. If there was its own if there was another tier portion, I would definitely add it in for something. Glitch trap, malhair, whatever you want to call it. Regardless, this bunny is S tier. It's a bunny that will appear in your office slowly. And to get rid of it, you have to purchase his tapes at the price counter for 5 fast coins. Not only does it remove your camera stalling, but it also forces you to conserve your fast coins. Dreadbear. Fredbear is the animatronic that comes from the right side. He can be seen on the cams, and when he gets to your door, you have to shut it. He can be office stalled. So, most people wait for him to come and then shut him in or something. Because he can be office stalled, this does put him in F along with Freddy, because they have the same mechanic, except Freddy's for the left and Dreadbear's for the right. Grim Foxy. You see him, you have to put on your mask. Now, here's the thing. We got Golden Bear at E tier, and we got Withered Freddy at C tier. Well, Withered Freddy should really be at D tier, because, in my opinion, Grim Foxy, Toy Bonnie, and Toy Chica all deserve that C tier. Whereas Withered Freddy and Withered Bonnie only deserve the D tier. Withered Freddy and Withered Bonnie have the same mechanic, and Grim Foxy, Toy Bonnie, and Toy Chica all have the same mechanic. Withered Bonnie, you put down your mask when he appears. He can appear while the cams are down. These three, you put down your mask when they appear. They can appear when your camera's down, and randomly at 5-second intervals. The difference between these two and those three are that these two reset immediately when you put down your mask, whereas these three, you have to have your mask on for either a certain amount of time, at a certain period of time, or keep it on to the very end. If it's the latter of the three, then you could be really confused as to why they are not gone yet, and then you'll accidentally lift up your mask at the very last second, and then you'll die. I don't know about you, but that's deserving of C tier. BB. He gets into your office, he disables your flashlight. Synergizes well with Phantom Freddy, but if he's not there, then BB's basically a nuke. But still, he's got a little bit of synergism that puts him in E tier. Unlike JJ, who has a little bit more synergism, therefore she is put into D tier. JJ will disable your doors, and that will suck when Ballora comes in or Afton comes in, both of which cannot be cam stalled, one of which appearing one night from the right vent, the other appearing randomly at 5-second intervals from the left or the right side, depending on noise. Honestly, I find Afton to be an E tier animatronic because of the fact that he only appears once a night. He was originally going to be an A tier animatronic, but then I realized the fact that he made no noise was a bug, which was patched. Ballora, on the other hand, is going to be a B tier animatronic. She spawns more frequently. She can cause a lot more mayhem with the doors. Yeah. Bonnet, I find her to be at an F tier. All you have to do is boop her nose and she gone. Bonnie, probably also an F tier because you never really visit Pirate Cove. So, what happens is if you go to Pirate Cove while Bonnie's there, he'll disable your camera just for a short period of time. And with that, Bonnie is basically useless. Chica, on the other hand, she's not. She forces you into your global music box. Or you can alternatively change the music on Cam 4. However, if you if you yeah, that is my train of thought. If you change the music before Chica's done listening to it, she still get mad. I don't get why, but she get mad. Very mad. So, because of that, Chica's more of a D tier animatronic. She's manageable, but she can get the jump on you rarely. Baby is a plush animatronic, and as such, she is immediate S tier. He keeps you in Cam 2, basically. Same with Nightmare Bonnie and Nightmare Mangle. Alrighty, we're on to Dee Dee. It's obvious. She S tier. She spawned a random animatronic. She randomly comes in and spawns a new animatronic every hour. She has a chance. In the higher modes, she has a limited variety of what she can spawn. So it's literally imperative that you don't get hurt. Next up is El Chip. Ads, and more ads. Ads be useless. Therefore, El Chip get F. Adventure Endo 01. He'll come through the vents. Him and his mini army. One Adventure Endo will go into each path. You use the vent snare to block them, or else you cannot do anything else. And you'll have to keep that top vent shut throughout the rest of the night. Because if you open it, Adventure Endo can still jump scare you. That is deserving of C tier. One above the other animatronics that aren't reset by the door. Ennard. Visual. Ennard is an audio cue for the top vent. He can be office stalled. Therefore, he's F tier. Same with Molten Freddy, so he's also F tier. In fact, let's find the rest of the event animatronic and put them into F tier as well because I'm fairly certain the rest of them are office stalled. Same with Nightmare Fredbear and Nightmare. Same with yeah, that's it. Yeah. Now for Foxy. Foxy is deserving of C tier. He is the main house, is the main basically owner of Pirate Cove. You don't look at him while he's there. He goes into your office piece by piece, and he will jump scare you after some time. The problem is, he got a nerf. So that when he finally comes into your office, only one piece of him will come in at a time as you do ventilation reset. Meaning that once he comes into your office, it's all up to System Error Toy Bonnie to not give you what you don't need. Funtime Chica. If you don't have visual effects on, he's F tier. If you do, he's E tier. Because there's a lot of good things that Funtime Chica can do with visual effects on. But I'm fairly certain that most of you play with visual effects off. So we're gonna go F tier to appease the majority. Funtime Foxy. You have him on, he stops your cam stalling unless you death coin him. This is probably the main animatronic that people death coin, and for good reason. He is definitely deserving of the S tier. Helpy. Helpy is a nuisance. There are some times where you can't deal with him because Endo spawns at the exact same time as him. But aside from that, his agitations are pretty much short, simple, and don't even come close to getting Party Freddy ready. In fact, Helpy needs a buff. Buff Helpy. Please buff Helpy. Please, for the love of God, buff Helpy, or else he's gonna stay in F tier. Jaco Chica. Jaco Chica is deserving of D tier. You rarely see him because you don't really have the few times you get to 90 or 100 degrees, you immediately go back to down to 70. And then that follows by a ventilation error, so you have to do your ventilation reset strat, which involves closing all the doors, then only closing the top vent. In doing that, you get rid of Jaco Chica. But at the same time, if you're not careful enough with your heat, she can still deal with you. Lefty. Lefty is agitated by sound and noise, but apparently sound and heat. But apparently you still need both to make him very angry. I rarely get jump scared by him. I'm fairly certain that all of you never got jump scared by him. He's going to need. He makes you pay attention to everything, which is nice, but he's really not there, if you know what I'm saying. Mini Rena, controversial opinion here, but I find mini Renas to be part of the C. They cover your vision for a solid hour. And you have to pay very close attention to where your mouse is at that time. It's going to be harder to see Nightmare. It's going to be harder to see Nightmare BB standing. It's going to be harder to see Phantom Freddy in his very phased out state. It's going to be harder to see Jaco Bonnie. It's going to be harder to see that egg. It's going to be harder to see Rockstar Bonnie and Chocolate Bonnie if they get in your office and really kill your run. By the way, Rockstar Bonnie is S tier. Deal with it. Music Man. Noise based. got a really big nerf in Ultra Custom Night. Because of that, I find him to be at E. Nightmare BB. Honestly, he's A tier. He synergizes well with a bunch of animatronics, even though his mechanic is very simple. All furthermore, you could accidentally flash him while dealing with Nightmare Freddy, the Freddles, and that can kill your run. Speaking of which, Nightmare Freddy is also a no, he's not a. Nightmare Freddy comes in a different bunch, so stay tuned for him. Nightmare Chica, on the other hand, she is B tier. And this is only because of the RNG that revolves around this character. Sometimes she'll spawn in and stay for about 5 seconds, assuming you put your power AC on immediately. Other times he'll stay for a solid 90 seconds while you try and balance your heat, your AC, your power, and your global music box. Need I say more about this character? No? Okay. Nightmarian, A tier. Nightmarian is semi-quick at 20 AI, not that quick at 10 AI. I think the speed is the same. It's just I think the speed is the same, but it's just the fact that he rarely spawns in at 10 AI. And the few times he does, you least expect it. But at 20 AI, you always expect it. So you're always at the very left or the very right of the screen. Preferably the very right if Phantom Foxy exists. Nightmare Freddy. The Freddles are basically useless. If they were buffed to give an audio disturbance, that would be a really cool change. Wink wink, Camille. I hope you see this part. Either way, Nightmare Freddy, deserving of E tier because it's fairly obvious that he will never get the jump on us. Even if we never deal with his Nightmare Freddy, the Freddles. Only one of them can spawn while you're in camps. It's not like the Ultimate Custom Night stuff where 3 spawn once you get back into your office. You have a chance for 1 to spawn, and if 3 spawn, the next time you go into your cams, you get a jump scare. Old man consequences. I say he's actually the. There are some. He's easy to deal with, but he has severe consequences if you don't deal with him quick enough. Those being, no camps for you, fam. If you get him at the apex of a ventilation error, you're dead. You just are. There's no doubt about it. Next up, we are going to be rating Rockstar Foxy. Definite F tier. You could be semi-reliant on him during the 120 mode if you really want to. I don't recommend it. He will always jump scare you at 20 AI. There's not there's not a doubt about that. If you don't get jump scared, you are God. But the fact that you don't have to deal with him, just like Shamrock Freddy, just like Rise puts him in. And now we're down to the final 10. A couple of Phantoms, a couple of Rock Stars, a couple of main antagonists, and yeah. Next, I'd say Phantom BB is F tier. He's just like Shadow Freddy, except with a very long reaction time. Same with Phantom Mangle, except for audio disturbance. Phantom Freddy, on the other hand, he's D tier. D tier because you can you don't need to hold down your flashlight. You can just do one little flicker at 20 AI. Half of what is phased in is gone. It's a really good way to conserve power, and I'm pretty surprised that most of the other Nightfall aces don't do that. Next up, Plush Trap. Plush Trap, the killer. He cannot be Death Coin, forcing you into Funtime Cove at a random hour. If it's not 1 a.m., you are dead by the the plush animatronic. I'm not sure, fam. I'm thinking I'm thinking A tier. It I'm thinking A tier because he only spawns once a night, but you do have to stay at Funtime Cove for a really long time. Marionette now. I'd say he's E tier. You could deal with him through the global music box, or you can wind the music box up to you. But because Security Puppet and Chica force global music box on you because you're in Cam 2 stalling because of these plush animatronics, he's dealt with in the meantime. Rockstar Chica, afraid of absolutely nothing except wet floor signs. Plus, he can be cam stalled, therefore F tier. Actually, no. Let me rethink that. He can be cam stalled, but when synergized with things like Funtime Foxy, Springtrap, and Malhair, you are forced to move that wet floor sign at times. So I'd actually say he's D tier. Controversial opinion. Do comment if you agree or disagree or something. Rockstar Freddy. Let's just say he's the epitome of EA within Ultra Custom Night, and you have to deposit 5 coins to get past the night. Um, he's he is active rarely, but when he does become active, you sometimes don't even have the 5 fast coins, meaning that you have to turn on the heater. And once you turn on the heater, your audio lore is basically useless because you scramble all of the duct animatronics out and about. So solo, he's easy to deal with, but when with other animatronics, he's D tier. I need to remember the name for this thing. Hold on. Let's see what this name was. RWQFSF otherwise known as Shadow Bonnie. This thing will make your darkness, whatever thing, 2 hours. Yeah, I can't English right now. That's what happens when I speak for an hour, 4 minutes, and 16 seconds. 2 hours of darkness does seem like uselessness, but you can still see whether doors are closed. You can still see Phantom Freddy. The one thing this guy makes you unable to see is Nightmare BB for some reason. And I don't know how to feel about that, aside from putting him in E tier just because of that one detail. Scrap Baby, C tier. What he'll what she'll do is she'll appear and you need to control shock her when she moves. But typically that time when she needs to be controlled shock is when Yendo or Phantom Foxy appear. And then you prioritize them over her. So yeah, she's C tier. 3 more animatronics. Springtrap. Visual cue can be office stalled. F tier. Toy Freddy. You go to parts and service and you have to yeah. You have to stop Mr. Hugs from jump scaring him, or else you're gonna get jump scared by Toy Freddy. Would be simpler if not for the fact that he's RNG based when it comes to the higher scores. Therefore, S tier. Golden Freddy. What iconic way to end than with Golden Freddy? The problem is he is E tier. He's just like Golden Bear in every single way. So if you deal with one, you deal with both, basically. Even if one isn't available. And that is all 117 animatronic as of the creation of this tier list. I know there are like 400 more of these down here, but they're basically duplicates. So now if you don't mind, I am about to download this, save it, and then we will update it with every single patch. Expect a video soon. And that, I see you later.